What is up, guys? It's your boy, Rick or Treat, and today, the Festival of the Lost 2023 Halloween event has just gone live within Destiny 2 Season of the Witch. So in this video, we're going to be showcasing how exactly this new event works, and also talking about how to do things as optimally as possible so you can farm the absolute crap out of that brand new gear. And so, let's get started. Now, first things first, how the heck does Festival of the Lost work? Because there's actually a lot of different things going on. There's like 12 different currencies added in for this new event. So, the first thing you want to do is head to the tower and talk to Eva Levante. She will get you started by giving you the Masquerader's Helm, and you want to put this on and keep it on for pretty much the entirety of this event, because if you're not wearing this particular helmet, you won't get some of the important currencies for this event. You should also know that if you go into the ornament section of this helmet, you can change its appearance to any of the different masks you may have earned throughout the years. Now, once you have this on, probably worth upgrading it as well. Kind of sucks you have to spend resources on it, but whatever. Then you want to go and embark on earning those currencies. So Eva Levante is actually going to give you 3 spectral pages right off the bat and then send you in to do a haunted lost sector. So let's talk about these haunted lost sectors, because there's actually a lot to them and there's some important tips for how to do them efficiently. Now, right off the rip, you can run past all these enemies at the very beginning part until you get further into the lost sector and you actually see a zone you have to capture. Now, these zones do have time limits, but it should be noted that the time limits will pause whenever you're actually on them. So if there's 3 seconds left, don't look at that and say, oh, it's not worth it. If you can get to it with, 1 second left, as long as you're standing on it, it won't count down from 1. And then once you've stood on it enough, you're going to summon the Headless One bosses, you kill them, and then they're going to drop a bunch of candy, and they're going to count as Headless Ones slain. So here's where the efficiency comes into place. Once you get to 10 Headless Ones slain, then the final boss will be summoned. So the faster you're capturing these and killing them, the faster that's going to go. And eventually, as you go further into an activity, you're going to see multiple capture locations spawning at the same time. So if you can split up your team and if you're able to solo these Headless Ones, you're going to progress a lot faster. Now, some tips for doing this is there's going to be a lot of close quarter battles. So something like swords, shotguns. I'm running the Banner of War Strand Titan, which was absolutely phenomenal. I eventually might make a video on some builds that you can use to absolutely farm the crap out of the legend difficulty of this, but I digress for now. Eventually, when the boss does spawn, you're going to have to do damage to him. He's going to become immune, and then more Headless Ones are going to spawn, and you want to kill these guys. They're going to drop pumpkins that, as you can see, you can pick up and throw at the immune shield boss to eventually lower that shield, do another chunk of damage, and then the same thing occurs again. Now, here's what's really important. The number of Headless Ones slain is going to correspond with how much loot you get at the end of this activity. As you can see, if you slay a bunch of Headless Ones, it's absolutely going to spew out loot. But importantly, the Headless Ones at the very end, when you're lowering the boss's shield, actually count towards this total. So if you're kind of running behind, if you haven't slain as many before, or if you want to go for the absolute max amount of Headless Ones slain, you actually may want to delay taking down the boss's shield so you can ensure that you're killing all 3, for example, Headless Ones that spawn, instead of just taking the shield down and killing the boss and not capturing all the zones in that final part of the Haunted Lost sector. So just a tip there. Now, once you do eventually take down the boss, and depending on how many Headless Ones you killed, you will get a certain number of manifested pages. And essentially, those are turning those spectral pages that you got earlier into manifested pages. Now, what do you do with these? Well, you go back to the tower, you interact with this book, as you can see, and you unlock certain lore chapters within this book. The rewards you get for doing this are basically nothing in terms of actual gear. Unlocking these pages are really only going to progress your lore knowledge as well as complete certain challenges within the event card, as you can see. So let's talk about how to do this as efficiently as possible. You're going to need to get a lot of spectral pages. So how do you do that? Well, you have to complete activities outside of haunted lost sectors. So stuff like strikes, crucible matches, etc. But what is the most efficient activity to do? Well, there's a couple. After a lot of extensive testing in a lot of random areas of the game, trying to figure out what activities actually will give you spectral pages, it turns out some of the best ways are firstly heroic public events. As you can see, you do a heroic public event, you get 3 spectral pages, especially if you can reload into the instance where this event occurred and double dip in the loot. You can really efficiently farm spectral pages from this. And you're also going to be getting a decent amount of candy at the same time. However, there's an even more efficient method. What you want to do is open Neomuna and load into First Contact, the very first mission within the Lightfall campaign. After playing through the first segment where you're jumping between Cabal ships, eventually you're going to be faced with a Tormentor, as you can see. So the second you kill this Tormentor, have someone leave, save that checkpoint, and then, as you can see, what you can actually do is, with the help of a teammate, load into this checkpoint, and then you simply run forward, kill like 3 Cabal in this room, interact with the Cabal drop pods. It will drop you into kind of the second half of this mission, but that will count as a mission complete, and you will get 9 spectral pages from doing this. So it does take some setup, like you're gonna have to play for a while to get to that Tormentor part, but if you can grab that checkpoint, again, right after you kill the Tormentor, do not open the door yet, then you can load in on that continuously and farm the crap out of spectral pages. A big tip here, guys, some of you may load into First Contact, and then you just load into Ahimsa Park, where you kind of landed after the drop pods, and you're going, wait, what the heck? And it doesn't even show that you have a checkpoint. Well, if this happens to you, what you can do is either just do the legendary difficulty version, which is actually what I did, or you can actually just complete the mission from Ahimsa Park forward, and then once you fully complete the First Contact mission, the next time you reload it, it should start you at the proper beginning section. It kind of like saves that second half checkpoint whether you want it to or not. It's a little bit weird. But again, that is hyper efficient when it comes to farming spectral pages. Now, like I said before though, if you don't really care about the event cards or stuff like that, spectral pages and turning them into manifest pages and then unlocking the lore entries might not matter for a lot of you. But what is going to matter is getting those brand new Eerie engrams and turning them into exotics. So as you can see right here, you can focus Eerie engrams into either any of the brand new weapons, which are obviously going to be desirable as well, or specific exotics broken up into like arms, chest, etc. for whatever character you're on. And you're also going to need a lot of candy to do this as well. So the way you're going to farm Eerie engrams is from doing the Legend Haunted Lost Sector. So as you can see right here, we complete one, and I had 1 Eerie engram, and now I have 2. So if you can become efficient at farming Legend Haunted Lost Sectors, then you can really start to stockpile these Eerie engrams and get a lot of potentially juiced exotics from them. You will, however, need candy, and for candy, you simply need to kill enemies with that mask on. And if you are farming these lost sectors, every time you do kill a headless one, they're going to drop a big bunch of candy. So just in the process of farming legend lost sectors, you should also be able to accumulate quite a lot of candy. And I would also recommend potentially going for these certain event challenges that award just a big amount of candy. Like I think one gives like 1,000 candy to you, so definitely potentially worth your time to do that challenge. Now, some more important tips specifically regarding the Legend Haunted sector. Number one, it's actually going to rotate throughout the day. So the actual planet you're on, like the Lost sector that's available to play, will actually rotate every hour. So it's going to be the same Lost sector for an hour, and then it's going to be a new Lost sector for an hour, and then a new Lost sector, and it's going to keep rotating through the different available Lost sectors. But this also means that the modifiers may change as well. Specifically, the actual champions you're facing will for sure change. The first time I did the Legend Lost sector, it was unstoppable champions, as you can see, and then I did another one, it was barrier champions. So make sure you're paying attention to that. You may have to switch up your loadout in order to deal with these champions. Now, in terms of difficulty, really the champions are no big deal. They're pretty few and far between, it seems like. So if you have, something, if you're playing, for example, that Banner of War Strand Titan, just saving your suspend grenade for those unstoppable champions or something like that, you should be fine. It's really those headless ones that become a lot more powerful. And when they do the ground slam attack, they do a ton of damage. So potentially having some healing, something like a Well of Radiance with the Phoenix Protocol chest piece to get it back quickly could absolutely be the play. Again, Banner of War Titan to provide that healing, swords, really powerful shotguns to take them down and nuke them quickly, stuff like the tractor cannon to get that weaken effect to them quickly so you can nuke them. That is all going to be fantastic. Now keep in mind, guys, you can also turn spectral pages into manifested pages on Legend difficulty. There really appears to be no difference in that conversion process, other than the fact that Legend is obviously going to be more difficult. So if you don't have a good team to do it, you can obviously just go into the normal version, unlock those lore entries, etc. But if you're trying to be efficient, once you farm up enough spectral pages, you probably should just do the Legend difficulty to convert it into those manifested pages, because in doing that process along the way, you're going to be farming those Eerie engrams as well, which you obviously want to get your hands on. And so guys, that is it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.